As a Christian and as an attorney who has worked in Washington, D.C. for the last 10 years defending the role of religious freedom in America, I have been dismayed at President Trump's record on religion and religious freedom. He has fomented religious division and weakened religious freedom in America and around the world. One of my gravest concerns is how he pits Americans against one another in the name of religion. Among our greatest national values is that we are a country where people of any faith or no faith can live openly and freely, and where we respect one another's religious traditions and beliefs. I was very concerned right from the beginning when Donald Trump ran for president, stoking a fear of and promising to close American borders to Muslims. His comments that a fear of Muslims was rational, or that I think Islam hates us, are deeply antithetical to our core American values of religious pluralism and my belief as a Christian that all people are made in the image of God and should be treated with dignity and respect. He later put his bigotry into policy by enacting a ban of people entering the United States that largely affected majority Muslim populations. At a time when World Vision identifies that there are more refugees in the world than ever before, and when Pew has found global religious persecution at an all-time high, President Trump has reduced the number of refugees allowed into the United States each year he has been president. Today, there are fewer allowed than at any point prior to 1980. He has abandoned the role of America in being a home to refugees. He has not only abandoned Christians, but through his polarizing and un-American rhetoric, he's undermined America's role as a beacon for religious freedom generally. After greatly reducing America's acceptance of refugees, he then suggested Christians should be given preference for the unnecessarily few precious spots his government offers those seeking asylum. America was founded on the idea that the government does not preference or favor any particular religion. America is a shining city on a hill to all who are victims of religious persecution around the world. The rejection of this idea is anathema to any American who loves religious freedom and sets a terrible precedent for how future administrations and all Americans should think about religious freedom, tolerance, and mutual respect. Additionally, we have abandoned our role as a defender of religious freedom and human rights around the world. Today in North Korea, it is illegal to be a Christian. And according to Open Doors, the organization that tracks the persecution of Christians around the world, it is the most oppressive regime in the world for Christians. If identified, the 200 to 400,000 Christians in North Korea can immediately be put to death or sent to a labor camp where they are often also tortured. Instead of defending these Christians, however, President Trump befriended and cozied up to Kim Jong-un. Likewise, he has failed to challenge China on their imprisonment of at least 1 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps. These camps are also reported to hold Muslims from other ethnic groups as well as Christians and anti-communist dissidents. There are an estimated 3 million people held in these concentration camps. Recently, Republican Senator Ben Sasse criticized President Trump as simply standing by while these tragic human rights abuses are perpetrated against millions of people solely because of their religion. Some people who support Donald Trump will point to various regulations or executive orders that expand religious exemptions as proof that he has strengthened religious liberty. But this is false for two reasons. First, President Trump did almost all of this with executive order and proclamation and departmental memo. It's all temporary. None of it was legislated because he can't. And he can't because he is toxic and unable to build consensus, and actually a detriment to efforts to protect religious freedom because of the exploitative and deeply polarizing way in which he has associated himself with it. Secondly, he has done so in a way that disrespects our country's long tradition of religious pluralism. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and other founding fathers wrote regularly about how religious tolerance by individuals and neutrality by government were foundational to the American experiment. President Trump has acted regularly to preference certain religions and to foment fear or hatred of others. There is nothing more deeply un-American or detrimental to religious freedom that I can think of. Religion is a sacred right to be protected, not a tool to be used for political gain. For me, The ultimate example of this was when President Trump used tear gas and other violent forms to clear protesters so that he could get a photo op in front of a church with a Bible. I refuse to let my religion be exploited in this way. Not my faith, not our faith.